Hi everyone, we are going a little free library hunting today. It's just way too nice to be inside, to be honest. I woke up this morning and spring is springing, so I expected it to be warm, but it's like 80 degrees. Like I was gonna do this in like sweatpants, like a sweatshirt, but I walked out on the balcony and I was like, oh my god, I'm hot as hell. I had to change to a dress and like my little jean jacket. Also guys, have you seen, I feel like I haven't really talked about them, but guys, have you seen my glasses? I really love them. They're my new favorite frame. You're probably going to realize because I wear them recently in every video. I got them from Firmu. Thank you, Firmu. And I just really love I don't think I have a frame like this. Like I have one that's like more, you guys don't know what that means. I have ones that are more like circular and then ones that kind of look more like, I got them from like the 60s. And then ones that are more thin. I always feel like they make me look like a cool little librarian. And so I'm getting off topic, but we're gonna go a little free library hunting, mostly because, I love exploring like little free libraries. And like when I see them, it's always like, oh my God, like it's like spotting like I guess like a little mini celebrity. Oh my God, like a free little library. And I also think it's a good way for me to just, it's a really nice car. Seeing people drive around with like drop top cars is telling me like it's really hot today. It was also hot yesterday, but this feels like literal summer. To get back to the point, but also because I think exploring little free libraries are a good way to also like explore your area and like see new pockets of places. I've lived now in the DMV for, wow, I think we just cracked like a year. And I feel like there are always like little pockets of places I'm being introduced to. Like that park that you guys saw me reading at one of my recent vlogs, I had never been there before. And it was really only like 20-ish and change minutes from my house. And so I pulled up like on my phone. You can literally, there's an app for it too, but I'm just using like the online web service where you can type in like little free libraries, and a bunch of the ones popped up in my area. What also brought this to top of mind, and also somebody is texting me, what also brought this to top of mind is I was in the grocery store the other day, and as we were checking out, like me and my mom, or my mom and I, sorry grammar, my mom and I, as we were leaving the register, I was like, it's so odd that like this placement of books is here. And it was like a little free library in the grocery store, which is that I've never seen before. Usually see them on like the side of the road. And so I've seen 2 so far in my area, but I think there are 2 more that are unexplored by me. And mind you, I've never really stopped at the ones that I've seen. There was one in the grocery store that I stopped for a little bit, but we had been there to grocery shop. We had like a lot of cold stuff we needed to get in the car. That's basically what this is going to be. I'm going to be exploring. We're going to be looking. Usually also when I'm at free little libraries and other places, I am usually donating books. Like when I moved from North Carolina, I didn't show you guys, but that's like most of the books that like I gave away, I gave to free little libraries. And so I hope that somebody's able to enjoy them the way that I'm able to enjoy them. If not, I usually give them to like family members. That is honestly one of the hardest parts, outside of like many other aspects of course, but the hardest part of moving the books. I've always like seen people who have like big libraries, like, oh my God, like I'm happy for you, but I'm jelly. But I always think about like if I really like have like a big library like that, like multiple shelves, like a whole room for it, I would need to live there for the rest of my life. Like I could not imagine, especially like the hardcovers. Those books were just so heavy. So yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm grateful, of course. But that is like something I didn't really think about because I don't think my books like take up that much space in my room. It's like a smaller bookshelf, but that was hard. But to get back on topic, where we are right now is at Dunkin' because before I go on my little escapade and journey, I want to get a matcha and I want to get a cinnamon raisin bagel. That is the one thing I miss. If you guys don't know, I feel like maybe I never brought this up. I grew up in New Jersey, or maybe I did. I grew up in New Jersey, which is, New York, New Jersey, epicenter of like more often than not always being able to find a good bagel. And I really took that for granted because that's not the case. And a lot of other places, to say the least. Let's not shit on Dunkin' bagels too much, but they're just kind of, I don't know. And the thing is, like, I used to be like a big Dunkin' fiend in high school, even when I lived in New Jersey. Like, their cinnamon raisin bagels were like, that was my thing. But I feel like lately, maybe something's changed. It doesn't hit the way it used to. But I'm trying to decide if I want like an iced chai or an iced matcha latte. I've been making matcha at home most recently, but sometimes I know sometimes when you say like treat yourself, you can find yourself down a black hole of finances because you treated yourself so much. But also, like, to be so for real, I've adopted this mindset also. If you guys have seen like my 20 something series, I don't know, life is so short, like, and that's something I'm really trying to like we're going a little free library hunting and now I'm talking about life. To wrap it up, basically, is that sometimes like life is too short. Like, treat yourself to a matcha, it's not the end of the world. So let's go. Let's get into the drive-thru first. I was gonna go inside, but I've changed my mind. I don't actually want to get out. Where the hell am I going? Oh, okay. This is where I'm supposed to be going. I'm not cutting, I promise. Okay, if you guys saw me when I like picked it up, go like, whoa, which is like also what the girl who handed it to me said, because I was like, it's not, it wasn't blended at all. Don't get me wrong, like I work in food service, so I understand, and they seem understaffed because I had to go back in, but I was like, it just wasn't blended at all, and I couldn't do it with my straw either. I was sitting in the car like, okay, like maybe, but it was like all over the sides. So yeah, I feel like I spent too much time here. We're gonna go to the first free little library that I know while I eat my summaries bowl. Okay, I'm at the first location, or at least I'm in the parking lot of where the first little library is. So let's see what they have inside. Okay, it looks like there's a few, maybe like one or two Harlequin romances in here, and mostly self-help books like The Body Reset Diet. Yeah, most of these are like older Harlequin, which the covers are really nostalgic, kind of cutesy. Okay, like you guys saw, there were mostly like older Harlequin romances in that one, and then also a lot of like printouts, like somebody, not even like they were really books, they were kind of like textbooks, almost like scripts, and then there were like mostly self-help books. So I feel like I know if I want to donate any like fiction to a little library, I'll probably prioritize this one. But let's go to the second one that I was talking about that's in the grocery store. I ended up leaving with something, guys. When I was in there, I feel like I looked so out of place at first, because the other times I've been in there and I've just been like looking at the little library, not like looking inside, but just kind of looking at it. I've been like grocery shopping, so I've had the cart and stuff, but I just walked in there like today with the intention of going to the little free library, and it's like behind the like cash register, like where people are like checking out their food. So I was like, hey guys. There was a lot of literary fiction in this one, which not necessarily unexpected, but it was a nice surprise. I ended up going with Station 11. I was at first leaning towards The Guest by Emma Cline. They also had a short story collection in there by Emma Cline called Daddy. I've heard good things about her writing, her prose, but the premise of Station 11 just interested me more, especially like the dystopian elements. Also, at the time, I did not realize that it was an adaptation, but I've watched most of what was the adaptation, Station 11. I think it aired on like HBO. I don't think I've ever finished it, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed like the premise of the flashing back and forward in time, but I have heard that there were, what's the word, creative choices and differences made in the adaptation versus the book, and so I'm curious to see like what those changes were. I did hear once that somebody said that the choices that they made in the adaptation they preferred to the book, so that's interesting. But I was still more curious in picking up Station 11 than The Guest. I just felt like The Guest sounded like more of an exploratory, like slow burn character study, which while it interested me, I just don't know if I'm in the mood for right now. I kind of want to read something within the next couple weeks that's more like storytelling plot based to see how it unfolds, so there's that. But yeah, this was a nice surprise. I wasn't really expecting to particularly find anything at this one, maybe because I know when I'm coming into the grocery store I'm like running in and out, so I really didn't know if people were going to like leave anything at this one. I wasn't expecting to find much, but this was a nice surprise, and all the copies in there were in pretty good condition. I was just looking more to like browse and like explore my community more too, while also getting a peek in like the free little libraries, and so I'm going to go to two more that are like near the town I live in, and so these are two I've never been to before, so I don't really know where they are, like what they look like, so let's go. Okay guys, unfortunately the third one was a bust, and I say bust because I do not think that there is a little free library at the location that the map says there is. Maybe it's a little not updated, or maybe people are allowed to like take up and down free little libraries like at their will if they get it chartered, but I went up and down the street a couple of times. I did not see one there, and also it's located outside and like near a church, so like where I think it would have been. The parking lot is closed off anyway, so I couldn't have parked. So I said, I'll cut my losses. It's perfectly fine. But just like when I cannot find anywhere to park, I get a little bit anxious. So I'm in the parking lot of a gas station right now. I'm going to go to one more that I saw in the area. We'll see if there is one there. I think because the ones that I went to previously, I knew that they were exactly there. I'd seen them before in passing. I didn't expect there to not be one here, but it's not the end of the world. We move. But now I am a little worried, like, oh, if I don't find anything like at the Free Little Library, that's perfectly fine. But now I'm worried that I'm going to drive there and there won't be one there. But fingers crossed there will be. Fingers crossed there will be. This one that I came to was in a neighborhood, and it low-key makes me feel like I shouldn't be here. Like it feels like a closed-off neighborhood. It's not, but. Ooh, guys, they have flowers in the attic. I definitely watched this Lifetime adaptation way too young. That one mostly skewed towards YA, which makes sense because it's like in a children's park, it kind of looks like. There was like The Fault in Our Stars. What else was there? A couple other YA like mystery titles. And then there was like Flowers in the Attic, which I found kind of funny because every book I'd seen in there thereafter was like young adult, like kind of on like the more-ish lighthearted side. There was like a mystery or thriller, and then it's like Flowers in the Attic. Hey guys, so I think that is the end of my little free library hunting, all in a day's work. That was fun. It was fun to just like get around and like though, I mean, as we know, the two little libraries that I went to are places that I've been before, but this is like an area I've never been before, the one I'm at right now, and so I feel like I'm going to spend a little time around here like exploring. Like I said, this one was mostly, it was interesting that I felt like each little library, which as I was looking at the map, it seems like in which they're sponsored, that's who kind of chooses thematically. Some seem like you can leave like anything in there. There's like no restrictions, but at least the one that I realized that I couldn't find, it was like a Christian free little library. At least they said that most of the books in there would skew Christian. Maybe they've taken it down, I'm not sure. So my spoils were Station 11. The first one that I went to, kind of like more self-help, more textbook. The second one had across all age ranges, but it's interesting that it seems like maybe people see the ones that are in there and think like, oh, like I should leave kind of the same age range or the same genre, which is, I guess you want to make sure that you're like allowed to leave what you do leave there. So my spoils of the day are Station 11. As I like broadened out of the map too, I thought that there were so few little libraries in my area, but I actually think there's more. So I'll probably do this like in the future at a later time, and then I'll also like donate some books at that same time. Yeah, this was fun. What is like, have you ever found something like a really great find in like a little free library? I saw somebody recently, they found like Deep End, which, oh my god, not my camera dying, and so I'm filming the end of this on my phone. But like I was saying, I kind of hope that people start doing more with like paperbacks, what Ali Hazelwood did with Deep End. I was in Books A Million the other day, and like the water spray painted edges are so nice. Like that would just look so nice on a bookshelf. I know sooner or later I'm going to be able to thrift that book. So I'm like not really tempted to like buy a new copy of it. So this is all basically me asking, like, have you ever found like a little free library find that you were like, oh my god, like I was not expecting this? Station 11 was a great find for me. It makes me more curious about the little free library in that grocery store. I feel like I've never paid it like too much attention, but now I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna check it out some more. So this was fun for me. I hope it was fun for you, and I hope you guys join me next time. Bye.